So, it is June 28th, 2025. It's about 6 a.m. in the morning. It's a Saturday. And this is Gay Pride weekend in Seattle. So that means it's going to be the busiest night of the year for us at the club. And I'll be working with the guys. So of course I'm trying to get my moment of zen in here now. I'm going to walk up to Volunteer Park and bring you guys with me. But I thought I'd also share my journey at Steamworks with you. Particularly how I came to work at Steamworks. This month will be June 6th of this month was my 15-year anniversary working at Steamworks. So, yeah, share a little bit about how I came to work there, and also take you through one of the nicer neighborhoods of Capitol Hill. Now, I don't live in this neighborhood. I live closer to Pike and Pine and Broadway, which is more working class. There are a lot of big single-family homes here. But it's nice and quiet, and a good place to walk in the morning. So, I'll take you back in time here. It was 2009, and I had just moved. Well, the end of 2008, I had moved to Washington State, and then moved to Tacoma, Washington. And shortly thereafter, I picked up a couple part-time jobs. One was with the Museum of Glass in Tacoma, working as sort of a security guard. And the other was a telemarketing job, a terrible telemarketing job, in the University District here in Seattle, which I had to take a bus to. And so I did that for about 6 months, and wasn't making a lot of money. And they weren't the worst jobs I've ever had, but they weren't great. And I was a little bored. You know, I just moved to a new state, didn't know many people. And got online one night and was researching the bathhouses in Seattle. Now, Tacoma didn't have then and doesn't have now any bathhouses. So I was looking at the clubs that were located in Seattle and decided I would send my resume to the 2 of the clubs. Now, at that time, there was Steamworks, Club Z, which are both still around, of course, and another place called Basic Plumbing. But Steamworks and Club Z seemed to me the bigger of the 2 of the 3. Club Z being claimed on its website that it's the biggest, and it is the biggest club in size still. But I'd never heard of Steamworks. You know, I'd been to bathhouses in San Diego and Denver, but I just had never heard of Steamworks and its legacy and all the clubs it had throughout North America. So I didn't think much of it. So I sent my resumes out, and the very next day I got a response from the manager at Steamworks asking me to come in for an interview. Never heard from Club Z. So anyway, I took the bus from Tacoma to Seattle. If any of you know, it's not a short bus ride. And of course, it was an interview, so I put on a pair of slacks and a button-up shirt and a tie, which I recommend doing for any interview, no matter if the job has that kind of a dress code or not. So went in for the interview, went into the club, and the general manager at the time was a guy named Mike Nash. And Mike had been sort of a fixture in Steamworks. He had managed the club in Berkeley, which is one of their biggest clubs, and their first. And he was sort of acting as a caretaker manager, general manager for Steamworks Seattle at the time. They had lost a previous manager and sort of sent Mike up there to take care of things until they found a new general manager. And I hit it off with Mike right away. He saw that I was on my resume that I had lived in Denver, and mentioned his brother, Jim Nash, who started the Wax Trax record label, which started out as a record store in Denver. And he saw that I lived in Apple Valley, California, and mentioned that he had driven through there one time on a road trip. And so yeah, it was a great interview. He was really impressed that I bothered to wear a tie. He said that in all his years of interviewing people for bathhouse jobs, no one had ever worn a tie. So needless to say, he gave me the job. So at first I started as the assistant to the maintenance manager. And I did that for a while. The maintenance manager at the time, we sort of became friends, but we also argued a lot. And it got to a point where I said, no, I don't want to work under you. So I went back to Mike and said, can you make me a clerk or a housekeeper or something else besides working in the maintenance department, because I don't want to work with this person anymore. So he made me a clerk, and I did that for, I think, about a year. All right, we're coming up into Volunteer Park now. As you can see, it's a pretty nice neighborhood. So yeah, I'd worked as a clerk for about a year, and man, they went through, I think, 3 or 4 night managers, and not all of them were terrible, but none of them lasted. And eventually they made me the night manager. And the night manager, especially for Steamworks, but I think probably for any bathhouse, is a very important job. You're basically working when it's busiest and most active, and the time of the 24-hour cycle when drama is most likely to happen, because there are more people. Sorry, there's a plane going up above. There are more people. More of the people might be intoxicated or using substances. So I kind of cut my chops doing that for 2 years. And eventually the general manager was let go, and they made me the general manager in early 2013. And I've been doing it ever since. And I gotta say, for me, it's been a great run. We'll go this way. It's been a great run. allowed me to really grow as a person, and the company itself has really did a lot for me. They've sent me to all the clubs for various reasons, to help train, to help with festivals and events. And gotten to be friends, pretty close friends with the other managers and other people that work in the company. The owners have been really good to me. One of the founders, of course, Rick Stokes, was really good to me. Really good man. And the current owner of Steamworks Seattle and Toronto, my boss, Ross Moore, has been really good to me. So I really can't complain. Alright, so we're coming upon the conservatory and the statue of Seward, the guy who bought Alaska from Russia for the United States. Surprised they kept the statue up, being that he's a old dead white guy. Alright, here's the conservatory. It's pretty neat. You go in there, they have all sorts of interesting plants. Alright, we'll go through this part. Usually on my walks I go through the whole park, but I'm not really feeling that today. So yeah, Steamworks has been great for me. And if I can, if the stars align correctly, I'll retire from there. That's at least 15 years off, so who knows what will happen between now and then. I think today they're going to have a festival here in the park of some kind. I should know. I think it might be trans, but I'm not sure. They're going to have some sort of pride-related celebration here in the park. And of course, here in Seattle, the big Pride Parade takes place tomorrow downtown and then ends up in Seattle Center. And it'll be busy at the club tomorrow afternoon and into the night as well. But much busier tonight. And all this trash. There must have been something here recently. There usually isn't so much trash. So yeah, I walked every other day. Usually I'll walk through this park, my morning walk routine. And during the winter, when it's still dark out, I walked through here and I was approached by a coyote this past year. It came out of nowhere. I thought it was a dog. It looked like it wanted food from me or something. It wasn't aggressive. but it came right to me. And once I realized it was a coyote, I started growling at it and stomping, and I picked up some rocks and threw them in its direction. It backed off, but then when I turned my back, it kept following me. It followed me right out of the park. All right, here is the Asian Art Museum. All right, we'll take you to this sculpture here. I'll show you the reservoir. This is the reservoir. I can see the Space Needle from here. I don't know if it's picking up on the camera, but it's visible. If there weren't so many clouds, you'd probably see it. So yeah, this is the best time to come here. There aren't a lot of people. Pretty much have the park to yourself. In fact, the few people that are out here now, I think it's just because it's Saturday. It's Pride weekend. A lot of people in Seattle. But on a typical weekday morning, there'd be very few people here. All right, now we are coming to the water tower, which is probably locked up right now, but you can walk up it, and it's got some great views of, you can even see Bellevue, you can see downtown Seattle. Yeah, it's locked right now. Because here in Seattle, we can't have nice things. If it wasn't locked, people would go in there and take up residence. There you go. All right, I think I'll end it there. Wish me luck tonight. I'm a 51-year-old man and I have to stay up all night. I'll probably take a little cat nap before I go in and drink lots of caffeine, of course. But let's hope a lot of people come through the club and there's no drama or no accidents or problems, and we make a lot of money. All right. Peace.